And President Trump is almost in Davos, Switzerland. He is expected to address the World Economic Forum within the next hour. This is fresh video just into us of the president landing in Zurich a short time ago, there with his coat on. Trump's Greenland ambitions have stirred tensions among many of the global leaders there. His administration continues to defend his intentions. This was State Department spokesman Tommy Pigott on the takeout yesterday.
Fundamentally, I think this is connected in many ways to the discussion President Trump had regarding increasing defense spending to 5% of GDP with our allies. We need to have these hard conversations with allies in order to have that security we need to see. And this is part of those conversations, the president indicating he'll have them at Davos as well.
CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is in Davos and joins us from there now as Ed covers the president's upcoming appearance. Ed, good morning to you. Give us a sense, we know the temperature, it's cool, but give us a sense of the mood there ahead of President Trump's speech. There's confidence from the White House, but there seems to be some nervousness among Europeans.
Errol, among other things, just in the last few moments, as word began to spread that the president is now in Switzerland and Marine One is indeed en route here to Davos, we started hearing something we haven't heard in 3 days of being here in Davos, and that is the sound of protesters off in the distance, making their presence known as the American president is set to arrive. We're also told that should he bring up the issue of Greenland in his remarks, as is expected, don't be surprised if you hear some in the crowd express their opposition to those moves by booing. That would be quite a scene for a conference, a setting that is designed to be communal, cooperative, and promote dialogue. We'll see how the president would react to that. But we should also add this delay overnight of Air Force One's arrival here in Switzerland because of a minor electrical issue led to something that White House officials told pool reporters on board the flight doesn't normally happen when the president is on these long flights. He actually slept for most of the flight, which would suggest that he's rested and perhaps in a good mood as his day begins over here in Europe. Again, he is expected, as you said, to speak in about an hour's time, but don't be surprised if that gets pushed back a little bit.
And Ed, while the president has made a national security case for Greenland, there are some who suspect it's more about the semi-autonomous island's mineral resources, its natural resources. And yesterday, you spoke to Energy Secretary Chris Wright about all of this. Well, what did he tell you?
That's right. There is believed to be an abundance of petroleum and rare earth minerals, uranium, iron, and others that could, one day, if ever reached under the ice, potentially help feed the world's demand for those minerals for the building of things like batteries and other technologies. So we asked the Energy Secretary, is that not potentially part of what the president's so focused on? Take a listen.
Of course, there's resources there, but it's a remote area. This is not about resource capture at all. This is about national security and, of course, anything that can be done for economic development for the local Greenlanders. Of course, that's a positive, too. But the issue is national security.
And that focus on national security, sort of that homing of the message from the president on down, is what we heard from administration officials here in advance of the president, that this is just about national security, nothing else. That's a much more organized argument than had been made by the president in the past, who had expressed interest in the vast natural resources of Greenland. But important to point out, for example, this is a place that is 3 times the size of Texas, 56,000 residents, and has just 92 miles of paved road, Errol. It is that vast, that remote, and would be that difficult to develop and to extract those minerals. So the Energy Secretary said, look, that's an impractical short-term thing. This is very much about national security. We'll see if that's what the president says today, should the issue come up when he speaks in the next hour or so. The speech, we'd been told by the White House, was primarily set to focus on economic issues, since this is the World Economic Forum.
Right.
And he would focus on the midterm election year topic of affordability. We'll see if he sticks to that script.
A remarkable confluence of 2 things. President Trump arriving momentarily and will bring his speech live to our viewers, but also we can hear it in the distance, Ed. As you say, for the first time in days, protesters now making their views heard. We'll stay closely to your reporting to see what happens next. Ed O'Keefe there at Davos.